Alright guys, this is Dodie Williams. I'm back and I am making chicken pecan quiche today. Okay, I got my pan nice and hot with some olive oil drizzled in the bottom of it. Diced up 2 chicken breasts. Added a 1/4 teaspoon of salt, a 1/4 teaspoon of black pepper, about a 1/2 teaspoon of paprika, about a 1/4 teaspoon of garlic powder, and a 1/2 teaspoon of minced onion. So I'm letting that cook up, brown up. And once this is done, we can add it to our chicken pecan quiche. This will be the base of it. It's coming along nicely. For chicken pecan quiche, the first thing you have to do is put a pie crust in your pie plate. You can buy a ready-made pie crust, or I made one that is gluten-free. So this is not sponsored, but I used this gluten-free flour and mixed part of it with almond flour to get a nice consistency. It's got butter in it and a few other ingredients. I will post the recipe down below in the description. Okay, I am rolling out this dough. It's pretty tough, it's pretty hard. So what you can do if that's the case, if your dough is really cold and hard, is you can kind of break it in your hands. That butter is going to make it really hard. And to soften it up, I just get some in my hands and start softening it up. And once I did that, then it started spreading out pretty easy for me. I put a little bit of extra flour, the gluten-free flour, underneath it and on top of it so that it doesn't stick. And I think we're just about ready to put it in my pie dish. That looks about right. So we're gonna lay it in here and bake it for a few minutes before we bake all the other ingredients. And try to lift it up without it breaking. We'll see if I can get it in and all in one piece or not. There we go. And we'll just push these pieces back together. As we form the edges of our crust, you can just form it around the edges, tuck it in all the grooves, and make sure that there's no big visible cracks on the bottom. You can see some of that butter that's gonna melt and make this really, really good. So I'm just making sure it covers the entire top part of the pan. Okay, I know we were making chicken pecan quiche, and this looks nothing like chicken, pecans, or quiche. But I had some leftover pie dough. So I had a little bit of dough left over, and I don't want it to go to waste. And I had some blackberries that I had frozen and then thawed this week, and I want to go ahead and use those. So I'm going to take this leftover pie dough and break it up and put it on top, and we'll add a blackberry cobbler to our menu this week. Okay, so I'm going to take this pie crust and I'm just breaking it off in pieces. Again, it's got a lot of little butter chunks still in it. I can feel it's really cold. So I'm just going to take this and place it in here kind of randomly. And we'll bake this up along with our quiche. It'll give us a good dessert. Okay, so we're getting ready to cook our pie crust, and we're going to cook it first before we put anything in it. And I'm going to poke some holes in it just to let steam come up so that it doesn't form any big bubbles under there as it cooks. I'm going to put this in along beside our cobbler we just made. So there's the pie crust. We're going to let it cook for about 10 minutes. My son Evan has come over to check out the progress. How's it looking, Evan?
So we are scrambling eggs.
That's right. For our chicken pecan quiche, Alex is going to help us scramble 7 eggs. We have the 2 breasts of chicken diced up and cooked. We have a cup of chopped pecans. We have 3 pieces of crumbled up bacon. We have about a 1/2 cup of milk and some spices. We have some minced onion, garlic, pepper, salt, and tarragon. And our crust came out of the oven, and we are ready to assemble. You ready to help scramble?
Yes. First, you need a scrambler. And what you're gonna do, you are gonna stir as long as you can, but not as hard as you can, or it'll go out.
Hey Alex, did you make a video on scrambled eggs recently?
Yes, I did. You should go watch that one after this video.
Well, Alex is scrambling those eggs. I'm going to assemble our quiche. So we have our pie crust that's already been cooked for 12 minutes at 350 degrees Fahrenheit. We're going to put in our chicken. So that's going to go in first.
I taste that chicken. It looks so good.
Yeah, why don't you go ahead and give it a taste test?
Have this little piece.
Is it good?
Very good.
All right, well, let's keep assembling before we eat all of our ingredients. So our next step are the pecans. We're going to add those in. You can add as little or as many as you like. I like a lot of crunch in mine. Some people only put them on the very top. It's kind of a decorative piece, but I like mine all in my quiche. And then we're going to put in our bacon. So put that in. And the bacon is totally optional. I just included it for today because the store had a really good sale on bacon, and we love bacon, and bacon makes everything better, right, Alex?
Yes.
But this is an optional ingredient. It's not normally found in quiche, but or in the chicken pecan quiche. But a lot of people make quiche with just bacon or just sausage, and with the eggs and the milk. But we like to put the chicken and pecans in ours, so we're gonna kick it up a notch. All right, how are those eggs scrambled?
They're looking great. I only have a little bit of yolk left, and then we will pour them in the pan. Okay, so now we are gonna add some milk.
We're gonna add the milk to the egg
Around
mixture.
1 cup of milk.
That's about a half a cup, maybe a third of a cup actually. It's not quite a half a cup. And
And
let's
then
add our spices.
some spices.
Well, let's stir that together, Alex.
I wonder what it'll look like after the milk and spices.
What does it look like?
It looks like a bunch of spices with scrambled yolk. Okay, so my mom is gonna pour the scrambled eggs and the milk and the spices into the pie dough.
Give it one good last stir. Alex did a great job on that.
You can see how she's pouring it slowly, because if you don't pour it slowly, then it can get everywhere. And that would be a lot of eggs to ruin.
Yep.
So, a fun fact, in England, they call quiche egg pie, which I thought was unique. My mom is gonna put the quiche in. She has to be really careful because the oven is very hot, guys.
Yeah, a blackberry cobbler, a very quick version of that, has come out of the oven. It cooked for about 40 minutes and didn't do much to it, just blackberries and some leftover pie crust, really. You could go all out and do the sugar on them and butter and kind of more of a crumble mixture if you want to do that on top, but I just made this one very simple with my extra pie crust. So around the 30-minute mark, the quiche started getting brown around the edges, so I put my pie crust saver around the edges, just a silicone wrap. Pan's a little bigger than the one I have, so we'll have one little spot we might have to move it around so it doesn't get too brown. Okay, just came out of the oven. Looks really yummy. One way to tell that it is done is you can stick a fork in the egg and it should come out clean. So that's what I did before I took it out. Make sure there's no runny egg. It has to be all the way cooked through. This quiche took about an hour to cook because I used 7 eggs. You can use less eggs and a smaller pie pan if you'd like to do that. Or you can use a long rectangle dish, however you want to do your quiche. It doesn't have to be round, but this one turned out really great and just settled there. We are going to use it for tomorrow night. It's kind of late at night now and boys are gone to bed, so we're going to wait and cut it tomorrow, and I'll let you guys see what it looks like when we cut it. Oh, it looks so good. This is the chicken pecan quiche. One other ingredient, if you want to add to it, is cheese. A lot of times we put cheese in our quiche. I did not put it in this one, but you can certainly add any kind of shredded cheese that you want to for your chicken pecan quiche. So I let my quiche cool for an hour last night after it finished baking, and then I covered it with foil and put it in the fridge. And the nice thing about refrigerating your quiche and eating it the next day is that it cuts so clean. So there's no mess so much. The pie slice comes out really nice and clean, and then you can heat it up per slice for each individual. So you can see all the chicken and the meat that's down there inside the quiche. Again, if you want to put cheese on top to get that cheesy flavor, you could add that as well. But that is our chicken pecan quiche. So there you have it. Thank you for watching. If you enjoy making dishes like this, hit like and subscribe, and let me know down below in the comments what you'd like to see next that we make in our kitchen. So let's give this a try. Okay. Thank you for joining us on our recipe this week. I'm going to go ahead and try our chicken pecan quiche. See if it's good. That is very tasty. We'll see you guys next time.